Hello and welcome, my lovely, lovely viewers. Today I am going to talk about four psychological thriller slash suspense novels that I think are totally worth reading in 2024. So, a lot of these books have read in the last couple months to I want to say about last 6 months, and haven't made a video super recently, and wanted to hop back on and come back with this intro video because I love psychological thrillers. They are my favorite, absolute favorite types of books. I feel like they are just such page turners. I also think that a lot of people really love psychological thrillers. I don't know anybody that um, at least in my friend group or family that doesn't enjoy a good mystery or suspense novel. They're always, super interesting and just really fun to kind of gush and talk about. So I want to also note that all the books that I'm going to be talking about today, I did read on my Kindle. I absolutely love. You can definitely check out one of my other videos, and I'll link it down below. My Kindle, I believe it's the Paperwhite, got it about a little over a year and a half ago, and really love it. I have the Kindle Unlimited subscription, and I have to say it is totally, totally worth it. Most of the books here are also through Kindle Unlimited that I was able to read. So it's kind of like a subscription. So you pay, a monthly fee, or annually. I think you can do it either way, and you get, oh gosh, I think over 2 million books, something like that. A really, really wide range of books that are, essentially come with that subscription. So let's get into it. Our very first book is called The Perfect Marriage. The Perfect Marriage is written by Geneva Rose. Whew, guys, this book it probably tops the list out of the four that I'm going to go into. It was amazing. It follows the life of a couple living in Washington, D.C. You have Sarah Morgan. She is our one of our main characters here. She's a powerful DC attorney at the top of her game, in her prime as far as her career goes. She is a very sought after lawyer, and her husband, named Adam, is a writer who hasn't really written anything that has been too relevant in recent years. Kind of one of those like big one-hit wonders, but he's struggling to come back with another book that is keeps him on the map. And so you can tell that there might be a little bit of competition between the two, just as far, and a little bit of even resentment, I would go as far to say, in the relationship. And you can kind of tell right from the beginning of the book. That is no spoilers. I don't like to add any spoilers in my videos, just because these are really kind of suggestions, and but always willing to talk about in the comments, what you guys think about the book, if you have read it or are are looking to read it. But no spoilers for the sake of this video. And you know this book, oh gosh, it caught me by surprise, I will have to say. It's one of those like very twisty turny types of novels. Usually you have a good idea, I want to say, by like the middle to the when you're like 50 to 70% in, you are like, okay, I totally know, like, you have a good grasp maybe of what's going on. And, this book, I really was honestly, I was shocked by the ending. Um, but I think it will catch you by surprise for sure. It was not one of those super predictable psychological thrillers by any means. But The Perfect Marriage, it really, it's, gosh, without spoiling anything, it's about, there's themes of infidelity and of, resentment, power struggles, between or in a very intimate and serious relationship. So it's definitely very very can resonate, I think, with these characters and a lot of what goes on. But the end, I have to say, pretty shocking stuff. So that one tops my list of the books I'm going to talk about today. The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. Second one, very, very good as well. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Then She Was Gone follows the life of I believe, a 17, 18-year-old girl. She goes missing. And her mother, the book is told from the perspective of, gosh, about three or four different characters. So it's very, very interesting. I really love that a lot when books kind of, go between kind of timelines and between characters. That I thought was, especially in a mystery or suspense novel. So, the young girl that goes missing, she's incredibly close to her family and especially her mother. So this book really talks about a mother who doesn't ever want to give up on her child, and she until the very end of the book is very adamant about finding out what happened to her daughter. And this book was a little bit more predictable, I would say, than The Perfect Marriage. I had a better idea of what I thought was an inkling about what I thought, how I thought the book was going to end. But Then She Was Gone was, it was very heart-wrenching, a very emotional read, but super, super suspenseful, and one that I really do believe is a good check out if you are a psychological thriller fan. The third one and the fourth one are both by an author who I have just been super passionate about. She is very well known for her novel, The Housemaid. The Housemaid has been a just monster of a book, and just such a popular piece in the last several years. A lot of people have been talking about The Housemaid, and it took me a long time to read it, but I'm not going to talk about The Housemaid today, although I am going to talk about her other books, The Inmate and The Teacher. The first one, The Inmate, follows Brooke Sullivan, who is just coming back to her hometown. She's coming back to her hometown after a very traumatic experience that she had when she was in high school. She's a little bit older now. I believe she's about 27 or 28 years old. She has a child, and her parents have passed away, and she goes back to her hometown to work in a correctional facility with a man who she has a very kind of complicated and, you could say, sinister history with. So this is very interesting. She's a character who I very much was she was so easy to understand and to relate to. I was rooting for her throughout the whole book. She was definitely someone who I think that we could see that a lot of people could relate to. She is definitely a character who I felt was a very strong and you know just very kind of interesting interesting I would say personality who is a little bit easy, I guess. Throughout this book I was like, oh, she's being so naive right now, and I think that she it was hard sometimes to see this character. I think because I just really resonated and really just, when the reader is, we can tell things that sometimes the protagonist or the main character, they don't see coming. So sometimes it was hard to read. I'm just like, no. Yeah, definitely really loved The Inmate. I have to say, I'm very passionate about the criminal justice system, and I, reading a book that is kind of, you know, has themes of criminal justice and the correctional system and the legal system entwined in, just a kind of regular folks world and life. So it was actually really interesting. I really loved this book. Very suspenseful, and again, one that I don't think is easily predicted, especially the ending. I would say that it did kind of catch me by surprise. The last one is The Teacher. So The Teacher talks about a lot about teacher and student affairs and relationships, and is the story kind of centers around, again, this is another book that kind of goes between timelines but also characters, and you have our main character, whose name is Eva, and then you have, and I believe her name is Eva, and then you have another main character who is the high school student. You have Eva's husband, who they're both teachers in the same school, and you kind of have a very interesting layout of characters, and I really I think like this is not anything super original, teacher student affairs or relationships. Like we've seen this storyline in movies and in books, and it's not one that's extremely different, although I believe Frida McFadden kind of brought it to life in a very interesting way. I really did like this book a lot. Frida McFadden has been just ever since I found out about her and I started reading her books, I have been a very adamant fan of hers. So The Teacher was definitely, if that's a storyline that interests you, you have mystery, you have a murder, and you have a delinquent affair, a teacher student underage affair and infidelity, and so lots of different themes there, but one that is super interesting. So I'll go over these again. We have The Perfect Marriage, Then She Was Gone, The Inmate, and The Teacher. Again, all of these I found on Kindle Unlimited. I have to say, I love my Kindle Unlimited account. I feel like I just have such a library, and I could just, there's never a dull moment on Kindle Unlimited. I can always find something that I really love and am super interested in. Well, I hope that these books sound interesting to you. If you have read any of these, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I had so much fun reading these 4 books. I think that they were just so incredibly interesting, and honestly, like, all these books, I think I read them in like two couple days, like 2, 3, maybe 4 days. I just couldn't. It's easy on your Kindle too. You're just page turning nonstop. So again, if you find those books interesting, please give them a check out, and thank you so much for tuning in. I am so happy to be back, YouTube, and I hope you have a great night.